As some of you know that my family was in the military. I got a family, military family, I'm sorry. Grandfather, World War II, that type of family, Vietnam, all that. So I feel like it's my civic and family duty to speak on this topic. The understanding of espionage can be related to some of what I'm about to present, seeing that I gave some information earlier about how, they letting a lot of courtroom procedures be constitutionally suspended because of certain needs from certain law enforcement agencies that's requiring judges to turn a blind eye on certain issues, which kind of remind me of the situation where I was in court and basically the courts turned a blind eye to some officers from somewhere. That's what we do know. We do know they were officers somewhere. We know one of them came from California because he's riding around with the California plates. But he's blue-eyed, blonde-haired. I don't know what color his eyes was, but I know he had blonde hair. But I guess they covered up for him. He didn't have to come to court. And which fast forward to the day's time, 2025, in which I'm seeing a lot of resemblance of what they call it. With first of all, let me speak on the person, Elon Musk, not from America, he from another country. I heard some information today was kind of startling that he was in the military. If you know anything about South Africa, apartheid, Germany, Nazis, it's kind of, I know we getting this information. I know we all can see we ain't blind, but we can only do so much when we only have such certain legal leeway to do so. But just as long as we keep getting enough information together to present and higher courts, because there are courts that's higher than American courts, guys. We got the United Nations courts that governs the human race, and we don't necessarily have to go through the United States courts to get Elon Musk and his Nazi crew. Like I was saying, it was a resemblance. What you call it when you have people of America who cater to other? I know you call it terrorists. Communism, communist bastards. Always wanted to say that, didn't you? Always wanted to say that. I've been wanting to say that word since the 70s. Communist bastards. They killed Kenny. Right? South Park. They killed Kenny. Communist bastards. Let's get those communist bastards, America. So, it's a lot of resemblance. Like I say, they letting people get away with court stuff in You know, they not holding trials and shit, and they letting them get away. They scot free. They not holding trials properly. They lacking due process. They not letting people names. And see, if it wasn't for this son of a bitch looking like he a Nazi, the guy Carr, who they in Livonia that they let just not come to court. If he didn't look like he was a fucking Nazi, I probably wouldn't have put the two and two together. But because he looked like he a fucking Nazi, and Elon Musk and his salute to the Nazi hood, and then what I just heard from Whack 100 about people going to courts and they clean the courtrooms so their informers won't be recognized, which means that they giving favors, and Elon Musk is a fucking spy now. Y'all heard Ice Cube new motherfucking song talking about Donald Trump being a spy? It's more like Elon Musk is, for sure. If y'all don't know anything about, I guess a lot of the young people don't know. Motherfuckers just was born after 2000. They don't really know. I could tell y'all don't know. Y'all don't know shit about South Africa and how South Africa was full of racist people that didn't like the black people in Africa. They went to Africa. They moved to Africa. And then became prejudiced to the people in Africa, South Africa. Tell them motherfuckers that, you know, kind of like America, tell them where they can and can't go and in their own country. Sort of like America, right? South Africa. And that's where Elon Musk from. He from, in which the African white Anglo-Saxons that from that live in Africa, basically Europeans, Germany. So they kind of adopt that attitude about, you know, black people ain't humans and they not. So, you know, when you demoralize a people, a human being, you treat them as if they not worthy, you know, like an ant. How many people went to jail for stepping on an ant? You know, 'cause it's an insect, you know, it's nothing. That's how they. So when you allow white people to revisit their old traditions of demeaning black people, it takes away the moral integrity that it takes to be around other humans, because you don't have no respect for them. You demoralize them. You make them worth nothing. So you don't value their life. And that's when it get really dangerous for anybody, when any other ethnic group demoralize another human being based on their ethnic background. And, you know, we smart enough. We done came a long way, humans, to the point that we know now that the only difference from humans is where they ancestors migrated at. Because wherever you migrated, your ancestors migrated on the earth, allowed you to mutate into whatever race you is right now. You know, because we call each other races now. But when we come from Adam and Eve. We was just family. Humans, we was just family. But we muted, we moved, we started venturing off and staying in different climates, and staying in those climates mutated us to adapt to the environment. Like the Caucasian people were up in cold mountains, high up in the air, bright, snowy areas that opened the pupils and allowed photosynthesis to present color into their eyes. They start growing hair where black people don't need hair at, because they needed hair for warmth, for signals to let them know certain elements was around them. That's what hair is antennas. It connects to the body and it sends signals to the body and tell the body where you at, what's going on, what's your environment, what danger you in, what element you in. That's what the hair is for. Also to block certain things that may go in certain areas if that hair wasn't there to discourage them from going in those certain areas. The climate determines what your color is that your people grew up in. Everybody was the same color at one time. Like the Ethiopians, fair skin, not black. You may call them black now, but the actual color is beige. Fair skin, beige, like a paper bag. That was Adam and Eve color. But they migrated, had to get out of the garden, had to leave the garden, so they started going more towards the south, the center of Africa, where if you go Google it, you will see that that area is where the sun is the hottest. Over in there, Saudi Arabia area, Kush and all of that area, that's where the sun is the hottest on the earth. That's why they so dark. You see, when they was busting LeBron and Curry eating them ass, the USA ass, all them black ass niggas was busting the United States ass. Y'all want to laugh like how black they is. You want to know why they that black? It's because where they was at, where they grew up at, the sun is the hottest on the earth. So that's a tan. That's why they that damn black. They tan. But if you just move a couple knots to the east and go down a little bit to Ethiopia, you'll see the same people, just a little lighter. So I just feel like we need to be more educated, because we got a lot of prejudiced people that need to be prejudiced, because prejudice provides a security for them, like a job and money and a sense of security. They safe. They won't get fucked up because they got prejudiced infrastructure around them to make sure they safe and got money and food. because of it. So sometimes people not really as prejudiced as you think. They're just using it as a tool, a weapon. Because they understand everything that come out of my mouth, and they understand the facts. But it still don't do nothing for them because the infrastructure protects them. You know, it suits them. And if it continues to suit their needs, then they're not gonna change how they live and view things. They're gonna still go and vote the same way until their livelihood is in jeopardy. Because right now, they find with the security being the way it is to help keep certain elements and certain infrastructural properties and monies, fees, currency the way it is to protect their interests. But again, through the geographic what? Geographic someology, what is it? Someology, humanology, what is it? Someology of the study of humans. Not sociology, that's just the society. Talk about how we adapt to environments and the climates and the environments in which we live, our ancestors live is developed us to be the color and the build with the DNA and chromosomes that we have in us that makes us who we are today. So it's not, you know, I mean, you don't have to be so fucking rude and talk about somebody because actually, you know, if we really going on looks now, if we can really, you know, get real petty with this shit. You ugly motherfuckers. Serious, we could. But you notice we haven't stooped down to talking about how ugly you motherfuckers are. How fucked up your skin is and please don't fucking touch me with that ugly ass skin of yours. We don't go get that petty. Which we should. But I'm just saying. We need to get away from the petty shit. We need to get away from the petty shit before we start putting mirrors up to some of you motherfuckers' faces and asking you what you see. And then start taking some notes and facts about what we looking at. You know the shit that y'all try to act like y'all don't see on yourself. Which gives you the courage to talk bad about somebody else's appearance. So I'm just saying because you motherfuckers starting to offend me talking about my appearance when you do not look better than me, motherfucker. In fact, I can point out some things about you that's very fucking disgusting about your appearance. Which I did, but I'm not indulging in it to befool you. I'm just merely presenting facts Just saying, shit could get real ugly if we start speaking on appearances and shit. But like I said, we came too far to stoop to that shit. We more should be on the level of providing facts that will indicate why we look like we look. Maybe we speak to each other and talk about why we look like we do because of our climates and the way we talk, like the way we talk. Did y'all know that people talk the way they talk is because of the climate that they in? And it don't have anything to do with race. It has to do simply about where you grew up at. In America, there's a bunch of evidence and proof and studies that's been done already that show that people, no matter what your ethnic background is, you tend to speak a certain way just because of the climate that you are in. For instance, in the southern areas, usually people would talk a lot slower because it's really hot, which means that the air is really thin and the breathing may be a little difficult to breathe when it's hot like that and you speaking real fast like New Yorkers, and you up in the New Yorker upper windy cities like Chicago and New York, you got more wind, so you can speak a little bit faster. You got more wind. Got a lot more air in Michigan and up north. You got a lot of air. And you can speak fast. Your dialect is, no matter what your race is, you tend to speak a lot faster than the people from the country. They usually speak kind of slow and direct when they speaking because it's too fucking hot to be speaking, repeating myself about the same shit that I just got through telling you a day ago. And I may skip some syllables and vowels when I'm saying this shit because I'm constantly telling you the same shit. So some of the words may be a lot slower and it may not have all the syllables and vowels that's usually enunciated when they speak because it's too motherfucking hot. Holla.